If you've ever spun around because you thought someone called your name in an empty house, you're not alone. According to studies, somewhere between 5 and 15% of the general population hear voices that other people can't. And if you include one-off experiences, like feeling your phone vibrate in an empty pocket or hearing a sudden shout in a quiet room, that number jumps to a staggering 75%. They show up in our movies, our books, and our favorite songs. As far back as we can trace human life, there's evidence that almost every culture has documented people who hear a voice within. Many people experience them, but what is actually happening inside our brains when we hear a voice that isn't there? To find out, we can look to the work of Charles Fernyhough, a psychologist at Durham University and director of Hearing the Voice, a project dedicated to understanding this phenomenon. He and his team draw from a wide variety of disciplines, from brain imaging to developmental psychology and even creative writing, to explain what these voices are, rather than dismissing them as a sign of illness. What they have found is that hearing voices is actually on a continuum. It is a fundamental part of the human mind, and most of the time, it is not a sign of any disease. Part of what makes it difficult to investigate is all the different ways people experience them. A harsh inner critic narrating your mistakes, a comforting whisper from a lost loved one, or a character in a novel speaking so clearly it feels like they're in the room with you. All of these show how different the experience can be. But how does our brain actually make us hear things that aren't there? One common reason is a simple mix-up in our own thoughts. We all have an inner voice that we use to think. Usually when we think, our brain knows it's just us talking to ourselves. But sometimes this internal signal glitches. Your brain still hears the thought, but it thinks it came from the outside world. You are basically hearing your own thoughts as if they were a real person speaking. Another reason is that our brains hate empty noise. If you listen to static or white noise when you are stressed or tired, your brain will try to fill in the blanks. It will literally create a voice out of the static, even when there is absolutely nothing there. We also hear things when we are falling asleep or waking up. In this half-asleep state, our dreams can easily bleed into real life for a few seconds. And finally, there's grief. Many people who lose someone they love report hearing their voice. It's not a sign of illness. It's actually a very common and comforting way for the brain to help us heal. In the end, hearing a voice doesn't mean you are crazy. It just shows how powerful and creative our minds can be. So if you ever hear your name in an empty house, don't worry. It's just your brain finding its own way to talk to you.